Welcome back to Istanbul on the second day of competition at the ISU's Junior Grand Prix Series here in this incredible location. I'm Mark Henretti and I'll be joined by the wonderful Ted Barton from his home studio in Vancouver. Now we've already seen the rhythm dance and now we look ahead to the next event where the first medals will be awarded here. It was North American success in the pairs competition last week in Linz, Austria, and North Americans find themselves in second and third place after their short program. But it was Georgia's Anastasia, and Luca who lead the field by a comfortable 13-point margin. Let's look forward to watching them and 7 other teams compete in the pairs free skate.
Welcome back to Istanbul for the junior pairs competition, and as I said, the chance to see who will be the first medal winners on this third stop on the ISU's Junior Grand Prix Series. And hopefully we'll soon hear Ted Barton is joining us too.
Yes,
hey.
I'm here. It's always hard to know when you're coming back on, when you're live on site, you're going, is Mark there or not? I'm not sure. Yeah, exactly. As we take a look at the officials for this event, this 8 pair teams, and boy, that team from Georgia, they're in the junior competition, but they sure don't look junior. They sure look seniors. We take a look at the technical panel as well. You were mentioning that a little earlier today, Mark.
Yeah, so the Georgian team, I just saw the Georgian team in the corridor just now, and they've confirmed that they'll be doing the senior competitions as well. And that's something that a few skaters do, maybe more so for the smaller nations, is that they'll double up at juniors and seniors to represent their nation in both age categories.
And it's gaining experience at both levels. It's fine. You're running your programs. Yeah. It's just making sure that you manage through any potential injury or illness and not overdo it. So where's that fine line between gaining experience and getting better and running yourself a little tired? So you have to keep close eye on all of that.
Well, interesting, Luca did acknowledge, he said it's going to be a long season, so they're obviously already very mindful of the fact that yes, they had a great debut. Yes, they were magnificent yesterday, but he knows that's just the start of a bit of a marathon season.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the first group that we're going to see. We often talk about the different stages of development as we watch this Group 5 step lift go up quite nicely. We missed the time before. Beautiful position in the air. Turned out toes and nice. So basically the speed of these teams, and they're learning these new pair skills. They might be a new team, relatively new team, and so they're going to be careful. They're better to err on the side of caution while they're learning these skills.
And within this event, we will see such a big diversity in the standards, and indeed almost double the points scored from the top team to the bottom. But it was great for me to hear the first team to compete, Sonia, Lewenhertz and Lewenhertz, the brother and sister team from Germany, just sounding so supportive of each other. And I think, as we've said before, I almost not admire more a skater that's at the bottom of the rankings, but the skater that might have had a less than stellar result, not the result that they were hoping for, but that recognises the opportunities that the experience offers, even if it's been something of a result that they wouldn't have hoped for.
And I think you're right. I think you can, and I do as well, admire those teams that are, or skaters that are in the early groups that are just learning and in some cases struggling, but they're here competing against some of the best. And so they've got the challenge. They've got to park the top teams away and say, well, let me watch them. I want to learn from them. Let's figure out what I can do at this stage. And then let's find out what the difference is and let's get back to work. So, but that's practical. That's not emotional. That's just, analytical. But generally speaking, at competitions, you get a little bit more emotional. So, but I really admire all these teams at whatever stage of development they are, because it takes courage and it takes discipline to be here.
And such a maturity. I remember myself competing at events, and the skaters here will have been here from likely Tuesday or Wednesday at least. They'll have had a couple of days of practice, so they've already made a mental assessment as to the likely chances that they have coming into the event in terms of their success. But it's difficult to make on-site massive improvements. You're not going to make massive strides forward visibly during the competition. Mentally, if they choose to accept it, they'll be able to make massive strides forward beyond the event when they return to the training field. And that's the real hope, is that they can see where they can move forward, but not let where they're at this present moment affect their experience.
Yeah, for sure. They're not going to change how well they skate here. What they're going to do is learn and improve how well they skate next time out. That's experience gained through these types of competitions. There's no question about that. And again, the age, you've often talked about developing the person as well as the athlete. And that's a big part of the coach's job, particularly with these young skaters, is making sure they keep things in perspective, make sure they keep them happy in that the expectations are not higher than the capabilities at the moment. It's a big job, coaching job. We've often talked about that. We did on our podcast. It's so important, and words matter. Yeah. And choice of words and timing of words matter.
And I suppose at this stage in the athlete's career, they're obviously still in the junior ranks, but they're verging upon a point when skating could become their life path. And, you know, we see the coaches that are rinkside who have indeed competed at this kind of level themselves too, and it has consequently gone on to become their way of paying their life. And so, you know, that in turn suggests that for the coaches, they're not just educating athletes, they're educating people for their life potentially in the career that they take beyond the sport or the competitive part.
And it could be officials. It could be officials as well. All the officials here were former skaters. I'm not sure at what level or when, but I know they were all former skaters. So, you know, this event or these events feed our system. And it's so important, no matter which direction they take, as a coach, as a volunteer, as an official, that they get this experience and continue to stay within the skating family at some point.
It's interesting, you know, seeing, you know, for me being here on site, Ted, and getting the chance to see the judges and the officials as well, seeing such a range then even in the officials, because they're, you know, British judges or technical panel members that I know that have, you know, real broad spectrum of different skating experiences, right up to the likes of the Garit Shea, who I mentioned in the ice dance competition, who's calling as technical specialist. So you've got some not almost recreational skaters that have now traversed the globe as officials, right up to skaters who traverse the globe as skaters and now continuing to do so on the other side of the barrier.
Yeah, wide range, that's for sure. As we get ready for group number one, there are 2 groups, 8 teams in this event, the free program. And there is the first team in their early stages of development, but what great experience here. 14-year-old Sonia, 19-year-old Robert Lewenhertz, brother and sister team, coached by Rico Rex, the 32.86, 8th in the short program. They have a free program top score of 70.01, earning that last year on the Junior World Championship. And they were 14th in that event. And they'll skate to the music by Hans Zimmer of Pearl Harbor.
A warm, compassionate hug between the brother and sister team of Sonia and Robert Lewenhertz. And I saw them, Ted, backstage in the corridor not long ago, and Robert so very protectively explained that Sonia was struggling with a cold, found it hard to breathe, and so that gives great appreciation for what I think was a good skate for this team and showcasing massive improvement, I think, since the Junior World Championships.
This was a really good skate. The patient, good music choice because it was not too fast. And for the skill level that they're at, it was a safe speed. They executed everything they planned to do and did that very well. So this was a very good outing. And for Sonia to be sick as well, this was really a top-notch program. There's the triple toe loops, under-rotated. Sonia had to take a fall, but here's a throw double loop. Beautiful. Nice ride out on that landing edge. Coming at the double loops, no problem. So everything other than that twist, other than that throw, than the triple toe, was really well executed for the stage of development that this team is at. They all went for level 1s or level 2s. They didn't try to go for the level 4s, kept it simple, and had the GOEs, for the most part, in the positive. And good job. Kept that program together. Nice work.
So hard when you are struggling. You can see now she's just struggling for breath a bit. And I can't say because I didn't compete in pairs, but I think the physicality of any junior free program is exhausting. But for the pair skaters, just insanely demanding physically. And so to do that when you are suffering with a cold, but you know, look at that care from a brother to a sister. I mean, if all older brothers were that respectful of their younger sisters, I think we'd be a better place.
No, absolutely. That's just wonderful, and I'm sure mom and dad are very proud not only of their athletic abilities, but of their relationship as well, and a lot of that's got to do with the family and how they bring them up. So what a great job, and you know, if you're not feeling well and you have to go through that program, you need the support of your partner, and we saw it here.
Absolutely. And, you know, the scores that we see are likely to come up looks quite a bit adrift of their personal best, but maybe it's just a judging panel that the components are lower than they had at Junior Worlds, but maybe that's just the benchmark that the judges are going for at this stage. And so I think they should and hopefully will be quite satisfied with what's been delivered.
Yeah, and I think that some of the elements, they might have gone for the simple levels, you know, considering if she's not well, let's not do the change of position and the change of hold and this and that, whatever. So it could have been a strategy just to make the program bearable and do as best that you can with the elements at the level that you're approaching this competition with. So that may improve, of course, increase the level of difficulty, increase the points as the season moves on. We take a look at the free program score for Sonia and Robert, 62.30. They're the first team out. Their personal best was 70.01, so they're off that. A total competition score of 95.16. Nice job. Wonderful teamwork. Wonderful family support. Our next team comes from Spain, 15-year-old Ines Moudden and 19-year-old Alejandro Lazaro Garcia. Now, 52.49 personal best last season on the Junior Grand Prix. Looking to up that score right now as they'll skate to Once Upon a Dream in Somerset House.
Ines, Moudden and Alejandro Lazaro Garcia from Spain. And I remember this team last year in Poland 10, thinking that they had great capabilities in terms of the storytelling for their current level of strength in the pairs elements. They've since explained to me that they have stopped working as much on their single skating, much more committed and devoted to the pair skating. And you can see the result of that here.
Wow, what a, the first two teams out are doing the very best for the stage of development they're at. This was a really good program. Skated nice and closely, nice and clean, some pretty good skating skills we see here. A little drift apart in the double loops, but no problem up in the single axles. As there's the twist, that's in it just at level 1. They're keeping the simplicity, but getting the quality. There's the step, the group 5 lift, just the basic lift. There's no level of difficulty. There was no change of positions or change of hold, but well done for a base level. Throw double loop, nice smooth landing. That was beautiful. Throw double flip, cover the ice, lovely. Yeah, really nice job, nice and clean performance for this team.
And they didn't attain the minimum technical element score for Junior World Championships. Didn't do that in the short program, but it looks like they're closing in on that. They need 34 points on the technical score to be able to represent Spain at Junior Worlds. And not sure it's going to happen today, but it's definitely getting closer. And I think they're going to smash their personal best.
Yeah, the personal best, 52.49. That should easily beat that here. No major mistakes. Nice, clean program. Lots of areas to work on, but there's nothing that looks particularly weaker than anything else. They all look the same sort of strength and level of development. So good start to the season for this team, and much more to come, I'm sure. It's just early on in September. As we take a look at 67.34, and they're happy with that score, so they should be. Well done. Good score with a 101.59. And that'll put them currently, at the moment at least, into first place. Our next team comes from Germany, 18-year-old Anastasia Steblenka and 20-year-old Luca Nieding. The coach also by Rico Rex. 6th after the short program. And they'll need a 65.39 to take the lead. Focus now on just a nice, safe, clean program as they'll skate to X Genesis Symphony Part Number 3 by Muse.
The second German pair team to compete here in Istanbul, Anastasia and Luca leading, and another new team on their Junior Grand Prix debut.
Well, Mark, this team was well taught, well trained, and well delivered the program. I'm so impressed with the first three teams. Look, they're not at the same technical level as the last group, perhaps, yet, but they're very smart and very well organized to deliver what they're capable of at this moment, and did a beautiful, beautiful job.
And you can really see the time devotion to this discipline. They all understand pair skating.
And there's the opening double toe combinations, the double loop after that hand goes down. That's okay for Anastasia. There's the group 5 reverse lift. This is the most difficult. Watch how smooth his turns are. Covers the ice, change a hold, grabs the blade. And this is in at group 5 reverse at level 2. So 2 of the features. There's the throw double loop. A little forward again. Keeps the hand away from the ice this time. And here's the second throw, the throw double salchow, a little forward as well. But those are just small little items. You know, the coaches are doing such a good job in building a great foundation of confidence, of skill, first of all, confidence in that skill, and then can slowly increase the difficulty as the confidence is there to do so. Don't ask a team or a skater to do more than they're physically or even psychologically capable of doing at the time. So these are 3 perfect examples of excellent coaching and preparation for these young teams.
And, you know, shout out and respect to Rico Rex, who joins them there in the Kiss and Cry, for creating a setup in their home training rink in Berlin that, you know, fosters this discipline that isn't as readily practiced worldwide. So respect to him for having the bravery, the courage, and the hard work to set up a system and a school of pair skating in Germany.
Yeah, nice work. And as you know, we've known with coaches, you see the consistency of coaches over the years. It doesn't mean that the coaches, teams, or skaters don't have a good day or a bad day, but over those years are constantly here, and their skaters are very solid in the basics. And Rico is a perfect example of that. As we wait for the free program scores with smiles on their faces, 73.71 for Anastasia and Luca. That is first in the free program. Smile grows with 109.92 and some fist bumps as well. Pretty happy about that, as they'll take over the lead at this stage of the competition. Well done. Our final team in the first group, 17-year-old Adele Zhang, 18-year-old Andy Deng from the United States. They're coached by Chris Hirnam, Alexa Kernam. They're 5th after the short program. And they will skate to the Phantom of the Opera.
Good interaction between
Well,
the
love
very new
this-
pair. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the support of each other. That was not their top skate for sure, and they had some errors, but very supportive of one another at the end of the program. Nice.
Yeah, and that's what I was really aware of in the short program yesterday. Andy, the more experienced of this pairing, and I thought they had challenges as you would expect for a brand new team. Adele so new to the discipline and new to competing on this stage, and Andy's got experience. He's been at the Junior Grand Prix final, and yet the reaction to scores, which were lower than he's had in the past, was so supportive, and that indicates a recognition that this is long-term commitment to this new pairing, and it will pay off if they can continue for multiple seasons.
Let's look at. There's a twist with the base level. Base level means that there are no added difficult features to add points, and it's smart for these young teams to stay at a base level if they're not capable of adding the difficult elements, the difficult features, if you will. As we take a look at that 3-jump combination, got away from them a little bit here. Here's a throw, double Salchow, that was nice, good speed on that landing, good extension as well. Double Lutzes, far apart, but they both felt perfectly in unison, not intentional for sure.
Went for the triple Lutz actually, Tess. It was like a massive risk to go for.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and then.
Oh, yes, it is triple. I'm sorry, my video is very glitchy, so it was hard to see whether it was 2 or 3 rotations. This lift comes down, and safe to do so. Just the timing of the follow through with the legs into the arms was just a little bit off. They had to take that lift down. And there's the look at the throw double loop. Again, good mechanics on those throws.
And knowing their individual abilities, obviously they fail in the triple loops, but knowing that they can both do that and banking on the strength of them as individuals suggests that when they amass the time under their belt of these pairs elements, then their technical element score could be really, really massive. And that's time triple. They've got the investment and time of getting their triple loops, the triple Salchows, 2 side-by-side triples, which is such a high base value for a junior pair team. You can't get Group 5 lifts at level 4 without just time and mileage.
Yeah, no question. They're starting with a very good base of individual single skills. That's no question. But it's the pairs that is going to be a little shaky in the beginning. That's okay. They've got a great future. They just have to put the time in. And that's good for Andy, just to be patient, because it's hard feeling that you were near the top and you have to now rebuild again. But that takes tremendous patience and support of his teammate. And he's doing a good job in that area.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, there you go.
He heard the cue.
Right on cue. Right on cue. Nice work.
And he's studying finance and medicine, so academically gifted as well.
Oh, these scores will not be what they're capable of or want, of course, but it is experience gained. And next time out, we'll see this team much better and stronger, more confidence. It's patience. You have to have patience. And, we all watch one program and make it a pass, not a judgment, but pass an opinion. And you can only do that through time to be accurate. You need to see teams through time. 64.73 for Adele and Andy, and that'll put them currently into 3rd place at this point in the competition. And there, Garrett, you see the support. And those young teams, pair or dance, watching this competition, that is so important. You must always support your partner no matter what happened, because you depend on them. There's a look at the standings so far. Oh, sorry, the skate order for group number 2, just taken to the ice for the warm-up.
It's interesting when we think of pairs and ice dancers that are so often we see at the end of a season that there are splits in the partnerships as they reform other pairings. And I think such a, of course, not all partnerships are destined to last for the decade that's necessary for Olympic level success, but learning, like you keep saying, patience, Ted, and building foundations for longevity, that's a really hard task for young people to embrace, and one that really pays off for those that have it.
Yeah, it's really hard because the grass appears to be greener on the other side quite often in life. Forget about just skating, but that's in life. Oh, I'm tired of this, and it looks so much better over there. And there's a very fine line between giving yourself enough time to do what you set out to do in the environment that you're in, to make sure that that it's not you, that you've given everything that you can do to make that work. It could be in a life partnership, it could be on a sport partnership like this, before you make those changes. But, in life there are changes. And so when you start again and you have to rebuild, once again, it requires patience. Patience in sport is critical, but at the same time, you don't want to be lackadaisical. You want to be pushing forward all the time. So again, once again, it's a fine line.
And I suppose that's when the job of the coach is. That's when it's wonderful if you're fortunate enough to geographically live in an area where you're surrounded by, experienced good coaches. I was chatting to Bruno Marcotte, who was just warming up his team earlier on, and he was explaining about what he'd seen in his new student and the potential that he'd seen. And how fortunate for any skater that finds himself in the hands of a coach who has got the experience and can lead and guide and maybe suggest perhaps a new team formation might be right for you, or indeed no, let's have the patience. If you stick at this, you'll reap the rewards of that patience.
Yeah, and Bruno and all the coaches here, your top coaches, read the people very well. Teaching the elements, I would say is easy, but it's systematic. They know what they're doing. What the key is really talking with your students to learn where are they at in their head, what do they believe in, and what are they afraid of, because this helps guide, or does guide, the coach as to how to approach them. Bruno is a perfect example. He's obviously had great success at the Olympic level and the world level, all levels down here in the junior as well. So he has a really good sense of that, as does Rico, as do all the other coaches as well, because it's about the people you're coaching, not the one element. That can get fixed.
And even
you see a new Canadian team right here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I suppose then adapting, because young people now are different to young people that the coaches were as they trained, because culturally things change. It's always being so adaptive and so malleable to the environment and the humans. Not one size fits all for sure.
Well, we know society has changed tremendously, and how we were coached in the 70s is completely different than it is today. And it's improved today from a personal and human perspective. So that's good. But it's more complicated, because you really, as we talked about, word choice and timing are critical. And when you're younger, it's like, okay, just do what you're told, right? And this is significantly different. So the coaches have to be able to read their athletes extremely well, have to be able to communicate extremely well, be encouraging, at the same time have an element of discipline. Complicated combination for sure.
And I'm always quite fascinated as you see Anastasia Metelkina delivering a nice triple toe, to see skaters that have very obviously the same technique. It's always interesting if you can see almost pinpoint the coach based on the technique that the skater is showing. And that obviously demonstrates a consistency and a uniformity in what the coach wants the skater to showcase. But then, whilst that can be a non-variable, the technique that they believe is fundamental to success, then the delivery of it can't be delivered in the same way necessarily. You might want the same technique and style, but you can't expect the skater to adopt that in exactly the same way from person to person.
Yes. Again, another complication added to the job.
Putting people off being coaches.
It's like, hey, would you like this job of coaching? Oh, what does it entail? If you give that list, you're going, maybe not. But the overriding factor is the passion for the sport, and what drives you to skate and to coach and to judge.
And you're talking of that technique I see in Metelkina. You can see almost the lineage of her tuition that creates the skater that she is, and she very much of a classic pair style. that the reason.
Beautiful posture, strong body core, all the ingredients. And when you're building skaters, it doesn't matter what discipline. If you don't have that strength and body core strength that's required, posture, all the things that you need to do the difficult elements. If you don't start with that, then difficult elements are virtually impossible to execute on a consistent basis. So it's building the athlete and then teaching the athlete those skills. And that requires a lot of off-ice training, of course, a lot of on-ice as well, as we take a look at some of the Canadians in the stands cheering their teammates on as we start the final group in the pairs event. And this team took the silver medal last week in Linz, Austria. I was there. Outstanding, delightful personalities. 16-year-old Olivia Flores and 19-year-old Luke Wang. Third after the short program. 95.20, their seasons and personal best in the free program. They'll skate to the Force theme by Samuel Kim. That was great. That's
so
great. Really. And, you know, it's as if this team said, okay, we got beaten by the Canadian team last week. That's not happening this week. We're going to set the standard. And they just powered through that program. That was terrific.
It makes me emotional seeing young people so joyous. And just, Luke obviously wears his heart on his sleeve, but then just at the tail end, Olivia as well, just showing abundant passion. And they said on social media they couldn't express the gratitude for the support that they'd had and the experience last week, and so challenging to compete in events back to back. They trained in Vienna in between the competitions, and now they successfully end 2 weeks of hard work.
Well, congratulations to Drew Meekins and Natalia Mishkatuniak, because we saw that triple twist. There's the double axel. Watch this combination. Double axel. Keep the flow going up into a single axel, and not easy to step up into another double axel. Pulled that off really nicely. Good save. Got the free leg back. Wow, excellent. Watch the throw here. This is a great save. Little bit of a lead. Gets that free leg back in time. Stays on one foot. That's the fight they had throughout this program. And here, late in the program, side-by-side triple Salchows. Awesome. And then the throw. Triple Salchow near the end of the program. They knew that that was it. That was the point. Look at the skating skills on that. Oh, I love those split jumps. Just fantastic.
You know,
what a great program. Yeah, they're crying. Yeah, absolutely. Tears of joy. Tears of joy.
And it was so much fun to see their joy at the 95.2 they scored last week, and how elated they were. I can't wait to see how they're going to react to this score.
Yeah, when well deserved as well. Here's the score with a 105. They're going, oh my gosh, season's best, of course. That launches them into first place and sets down the gauntlet and says, okay, you guys, if you can beat this, we'll shake your hands. Certainly the team from Georgia's got all the skills. Let's see what happens. That was wonderful. That's fun.
Privileged to see that.
From France, Louise and Mattis, both 19 years old. 73.32, their personal best of the World Junior Championships, where they were 12th. And they'll skate the free program right here. They'll need a 106.70 to take the lead. They'll skate To My Body is a Cage by Peter Gabriel.
Louise Erhard, who turned 19 on Sunday, and Mattis Pellery from France. And it's hard, Ted, not to make the obvious comparison with Olivia Flores and Luke Wang, who've just gone before them. But got to be mindful of the improvements this team has made. So based on their performances last season, the improvements and the progress that they have made are visible, and especially impressive knowing the studies and the academic pursuits that they are both also maintaining.
Yeah, Olivia and Luke, their base level with the side-by-side triples and the throw triples is a little higher just to start with, of course. So this team has really come along very well, very nicely, and they're not quite at that stage yet of being able to deliver everything that they want to because they're pretty busy.
Yeah.
Here's a look at the opening twist. Here's the double axles, a little bit forward, but they get them done. And double flip. Well, 2 foot forward landing on that. And downgraded. But here's the throw. Double loop. Nice mechanics on the white lift. Now, the woman's job in a lift is stay absolutely still. Do not move. Don't shift the balance point. Keep still. Unless you have to change position, which you need to do very, very slowly, very carefully, and hopefully we'll take a look at another lift as that throw. Here it is. Now watch. Her position's got to be hold every muscle. Don't move. He has to move below by moving his feet. Now, if you move and change his position, be very careful not to over move or over change that position to change the balance point. So you have to be very careful, and it's rigid, solid position in the air for the woman. Nice work on that replay.
They've got their coach and the choreographer here with them, and if we think season on season, last year at Junior Worlds they had a 73, and this is, Junior Worlds, we talked about last season, but that was only 6 months ago, not even. So they've already added 10 points to their free skate, I think, in 6 months in the off season. So continue that along, and who knows what the end of the season by Junior Worlds 2024 they could be looking at in terms of their free skate score.
Yeah, it's really interesting because whatever we see now, don't think that that's going to stay all season because every team's going to improve. Some might have injuries and slow the process down. I mean, who knows? Things change throughout the season. So this is where it is at the moment, but a long way to go. Lots can happen.
And I suppose they really have sort of cemented themselves in this top group now. Although Flores and Wang were incredibly strong in their performance, the group below them, the highest score that the German team of Steblanka and Nieding had was 73 points. So showcasing here something that looks like it might come up around the 83 marker, that puts them sort of top half, and given that they were 12th out of 14 at Junior Worlds, that again another little indication of the strides that they've made.
Yeah, absolutely. And the path that they're on. And, they're just analyzing and reviewing what they did and also their feelings about it. And you could quite often see in the Kiss and Cry, things change. They get a little bit despondent at the beginning, and then they start to get their energy back, and they analyze it, then they go, this is okay. That you start to see this evolve in front of you just with the body language, and more discussion now, and maybe a little bit of a smile here or there. And
and it's interesting that the couple themselves, they've got the coach and the choreographer there, but as I've said, they're studying hard at university, they're academic, they obviously know their own minds and know their own bodies because they look like they're processing without the need for their coach's input necessarily just yet.
They're not being spoken at.
No.
They're spoken with each other, and that is unusual. That's great. Well, there were 4 elements under review that has now been all cleared up. And hopefully waiting for the scores to come in any second. Well, an 80.42, and they're going, okay, that's a pretty good score. And that puts Louise and Mattis currently into second place with a 128.25 for the competition. Now we got the high five. There's been a whole change of feelings in the Kiss and Cry for this team. Well on their way. Our next team comes from Canada. They're currently in second place, 17-year-old Jasmine DeRoche and 19-year-old Kieran Thrasher. This is their first event together. They need a 99.68 to take the lead. Coached by Bruno Marcotte. They will skate to the Warsaw Concerto.
Jasmine de Rocher and Kieran Thrasher. Not optimal skate, but still in context. A young woman who wasn't pair skating at all, apparently in the Can Skate program not that long ago. It is just mind-blowing to see what she's achieved and making a great partnership with Kieran Thrasher.
I absolutely love this team, and I love the potential of it.
Yes.
Really like the look. They will have something very special moving forward. Now, they are short program ready in competition, but they are free program under construction. It's sort of like a highway. The ramp is open, but the highway's not open yet because it takes a little bit longer to build that. This team has a great look, great extensions. Look at this twist. That's just a beauty. This young woman has not had enough time to really become familiar and comfortable with her own skating side by side with another partner, let alone the pair elements. It's simply time. And this will not take a lot of time for this team because they're highly skilled, but not much experience at this point.
Well, it's fascinating to see that she actually looks most comfortable in lifts, and the twist was amazing, and those big pair elements.
And that's a good sign, really.
Yeah.
And I think just for the throws, it's just learning the timing because, if you jump with the triple salchow, you're not used to being thrown 50 feet across the ice. And what's the timing on that? This is a really exciting team for the future if you look down past what we just saw in the program. But it's not there yet. It's going to take a little longer.
And I have to apologize again to Kieran. I said this to them off the ice this morning, but the talking point is obviously Jasmine, knowing that she's been in part of the discipline for such a short space of time. But Kieran, experienced, definitely, but still a wonderful frame, wonderful support, and his pair's abilities quite evident.
Hey, this guy was a wonderful hockey player. Like, we're talking top tier hockey player, and he just turned skating for a number of years ago. So they're both relatively new to this level of competition in figure skating. They've done a great job. With 91.49, that's second in the free program. Bright future, a little bit of a darker day today, 146.34. That'll put them in second place overall with one team to come. So they'll grab a medal. That's good. Future is bright.
Fist bump.
So the leaders after the short program, 18-year-old Anastasia Meltakina and 20-year-old Luca Burulova. They were just absolutely outstanding. Only just an 86.61 to take the title. They'll skate the free program to the Millionaire Waltz by Queen.
Well, the formation of two separate Georgian senior teams coming together here on the junior circuit. Anastasia and Luca Berlava. And Ted, interestingly, we talked about how senior they were. Their score from their short program yesterday would have been top 6 at Senior World Championships just 6 months ago. So that's an indication of the quality of this team.
Yeah, I sort of had to shake myself going, are we in Beijing watching senior Grand Prix final? Because the level, especially in the first half of the program, was so superb. This is completely a senior team and obviously a very top junior team as well. I mean, the qualities is just remarkable, the speed, but their basic skating skills are so solid. They don't have to think about skating. It just naturally happens to them. They pay attention to the details, which they do, and the difficulty of the para elements, positions, all those types of things. You're watching really amazing para team here in Istanbul. Just incredible.
And skaters that look like they've always been designed to be pair skaters.
Yeah, that twist, that's a level 3. There's the triple sauerkraut, steps up into the double axe, right in the double toe. It's around the corner a bit. You want to flow that out, but still that's being really picky. Look at that throw triple flip. Amazing. So soft on the landing. And then a little bit later in the program, these triple toe loops matched perfectly.
Gorgeous.
And the back outside desk bar, which is more difficult than the forward inside. So, and that was beautifully done. That comes in actually only at a base level, so they didn't get any features on that, but the quality was good. You can just see the ice coverage on all their elements and connections and transitions. This was a little bit of a problem right there. Just try to make it choreographic. It just didn't work. There's the throw triple loop. The feet were in the stuck. Didn't get that free leg out to check, but other than that, you know, brilliant program, brilliant team, really brilliant skaters.
Yeah. And, you know, Georgian skating really on the rise. I have a feeling that the Georgian Federation really keen to make the whole team a strong team across all disciplines. And, you know, like I said, this is the formation of 2 other teams from Georgia previously, and now hopefully they will ascend any of the successes. Although, you know, we've already seen, you know, Luca be a junior world champion once before with his previous partner. Will they be able to make that success on the senior stage? And they did say they're going to compete seniors as well this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy schedule. I have to make sure the fatigue level, both physically and psychologically, is reasonable to succeed at both junior and senior. So they have to be careful with that. They're obviously incredibly fit athletes and confident, but you know, this can wear on you and sneak up on you very quickly. So you have to be really aware of where you're at throughout the year. It's a long year.
Yeah,
and the programs, even though they're 3.5, 4 minute programs that will skate both in junior and senior, you know, just psychologically and all of that, when you go to competition, just wears on you a bit. Well, the free program score for Anastasia and Luca. We did have 5 elements under review. That's all cleared up now.
I wonder what they're expecting. You know, new team. They both had great success in the past. I wonder what kind of numbers will be satisfactory to, yes, a new team, but a very experienced team with previous partners. So it'll be interesting to see if we can pitch whether or not they're satisfied with what's been given to them here.
Yeah, good point, Mark. I'm guessing no, they won't be satisfied because they're pretty high level competitors. But I don't know. We'll see. Still waiting for the scores. So now they're.
It's actually that slight stumble for Luca incurred a mandatory -1 fall, and that had a big impact on the choreo sequence. So they lost 2 points. In fact, they lost 3 points in total on the choreo sequence. So they almost lost that entire element. So easy, well, I say easy mistakes to be rectified, but I think that kind of mistake won't happen again when they're, you know, more run-throughs and training done.
That's true. So they only really got 1 point out of that whole choreo sequence. And normally they would get at least 3 points out of that.
Well, so actually it was the GOE went to -5 from all the judges, so they got nothing effectively for that. So
Oh, did they? They just changed that now. Okay, 113.45 for Anastasia and Luca. Certainly enough to take this title. They're not, overly thrilled with that. It was 181.37. They've got the title. That's what they care about, and had a pretty good skate. Things to work on for sure. I like her. She takes a handshake. Nice work. Good event.
Yes.
Promising.
Exciting.
As the American team of Olivia Flores and Luke Wang move from third into second as they grab their second consecutive silver medal on the Junior Grand Prix as we take a look at the final results of this event. So there are 2 events down on day 2 here in Istanbul. Up next will be the women's free program. It'll be a long one. Some really good skating to come. Thank you, Mark, for your brilliant support and commentary as always, and intel. We'll take a break, and we hope you'll join us for the women's free, which will begin local time in Istanbul at 1600 hours. So make sure you join us for that. For all of us here at the ISU, Mark Hanready, I'm Ted Barton. Thank you for watching.